since I now live on the East Coast. But it just means so very much to us that everybody's here. So thank you to help come celebrate. I just wanted to say a few words about my dad.
Ooh, aw. Aw, woo!
So my original goal was to get through this speech without crying, but I since changed it to with some type of coherence. You see, Dad, you mean quite a bit to me.
Oh, yeah. Breathe, yeah.
And there's so many people here. Okay. I know, I'm trying. Alright,
Love.
So, growing up with a dad like Zach is not the most time efficient of things. It's a rare day when I would walk with him anywhere and that we would make it a full block without someone stopping him to talk. And my dad always stops to talk, always. Over my 38 years, it's somewhat of a Groundhog Day experience. Someone would stop my dad, they would talk and catch up. My dad would introduce me as number 6 of 8 of the kids, make some small acknowledgement about what I was doing at this point in my life. And then the person would turn to me and say something like, "Oh, you're Zach's daughter. You wouldn't believe how much this guy has helped me," or "He helped me when no one else would," or "He saved my marriage," or "He saved my son," or this guy saved my life." And I would smile and politely nod. But I'd always want to say I do know, because not only have I heard the same thing from someone about 4 blocks down, but he's done this for my family and for his family and for me over and over again my entire life. Like most every family, ours has experienced a share of tragedy over the years, and my dad was always able to be the calm in the storm in our rock. He did this despite 12-hour work days and being there for so many others in their time of need. I can't really think of the time my dad has let me down, and I'm sure many of you in this room feel the same way. My dad does what all of us in the mental health field try to do. He lives what he teaches. He makes it central to who he is and who his children are. My dad has taught me to always try to see the vulnerability in others, even through their aggression or defensiveness, to respond with empathy and compassion, to look for a person's strengths first, no matter how angry, off-putting, or helpless they may appear. I grew up with Whitebird pretty much always being in my life. I see the same spirit translate through this mission and the work you all do. I never thought I wanted to be a therapist, maybe a lawyer, a famous singer. When you're 8 and your dad is talking on and on about being grounded, using your internal resource coping systems, it's a bit much. But in college, I realized, however, that my singing skills left something to be desired, and being a social worker and therapist was actually my calling. And even then, at the grad school job fairs, I purposely skipped all the addiction treatment program tables. I had seen that work done year after year through Whitebird and heard about it day in and day out. And of course, I landed my first job out of grad school as a case manager for the largest addiction treatment center in New York. So I wanted to thank you, Dad, and Whitebird for introducing me to my career, but also my passion, because apparently I hadn't just heard about it growing up, but it's part of who I am. The people in this room are not only colleagues, but some of my dad and our family's most dearest friends, and I aspire for that. Okay. We in the field have the enormous honor of hundreds, and in my dad's case, probably thousands of people opening up and sharing their life story with us. What has become clear to me over the years, through being led into their stories, that not only do I have one of the best dads you can ask for, but the best mentor. It was really common at my house to see random people happily working on our car or bringing up vegetables from their farm. I never knew who they were, just my dad would say, "Oh, that's Bob," or "That's June." And as I got older, I realized it was because there were clients and sometimes that's all they had to offer to get treatment. And I remember once coming home and my dad telling me a story about how he was parked in his car and a woman on a bicycle slammed into his car. And he said, she wasn't physically hurt, but her bike was smashed. And I asked, "Oh my gosh, what did she do? Was she embarrassed? Did she apologize?" He said, "No, she got off her bike and started screaming at me and calling me names, and insisting I buy her a new bike." And I said, "No way! You were parked? Really? What did you do?" He said, "I put her bike in the back of my truck and I gave her a lift to the bike shop and I paid for it to get fixed." And I said, "But Dad, it wasn't your fault. She was screaming at you. Why did you do that?" And he said, "Because it seemed like she that her bike was really, really important to her, and I had the means to do it." My dad would always says, you know, I try not to turn anyone away, and if you can help them, do. And my dad pretty much always does. So here's to Zach, my dad, my best friend. Please know that just as all the people here are a mere fragment of the tremendous amount of lives you have touched over the past 40 plus years through your teaching and counseling at Whitebird, especially since the Ducks are going to the Final Four. I'm going to switch entirely. My words are a mere fragment of the love, respect, and gratitude I have for you. Cheers to 40 plus years of your service to humanity and this community through Whitebird. I know you continue to work in your practice and in other ways, but here's to hoping the next phase in your life allows more time for self-care and for all those who love you so dearly to take more care of you back. I'm going to close to borrow your infamous quote, which I think speaks to your humility and sense of self. We are but a speck on this earth, and this earth is but a speck in this universe. But please know that your speck shines brighter than most, and I'm certain your legacy will live on at the clinic you poured much of yourself into. Thank you for teaching me that people are always doing the best they can in any given moment, and showing me gently and through example how I can do better. Congratulations, cheers, and I love you. So if anybody wants to come up, I want to open up the mic. I know probably people want to share. First is my sister, my big sister Maya. She's gonna read a poem, and then feel free for anybody who wants to say a few words. I know people have contacted me about it. So actually we have champagne toast. If you guys want to grab some champagne, we can toast my dad.